Hello everyone, how are you? I hope you are doing wonderfully well. I am very happy to be once again with all of you. I hope you stay with me until the end and welcome once again. We are currently exploring the return of trends in both fashion and interior design. As minimalism is strongly imposed, the traditional style is also making a comeback. This means we will be seeing more pattern sets in the design and juxtaposition of motifs from the textures of natural materials, even printed fabrics. The patterns bring movement and expression to any indoor space. When decorating a space, questions always arise, especially when thinking about how to incorporate patterns without regrets in the short term. For this, it is important to consider the floor, walls, ceiling, doors, and windows as part of a whole. For example, in a bathroom where you have an eye-catching tile pattern, how do you combine this tile with the wallpaper or the texture of the shower curtain? I assume we all have the same questions. Another example is in a room where you have to take into account all textiles involved, the material of the furniture, or wall decoration. The question is how that pattern interacts. Number 1. Mixed textures. A material with rich texture, even if it's a single color tone, can be considered a pattern when designing a space, especially in spaces with a refined look. The layers of patterns become more interesting on solid, textured fabrics or natural materials in furniture. In the living room, it makes the perfect trio to consider an armchair, a wooden center table, and a side table made of travertine. To complement this trio, you can add wicker baskets, a vintage rug, and a solid sofa with textures. They can also serve as a more useful version of an employer, giving a check of background to bold motifs from the Number 2. Rules and fundamentals. It is important to know that when incorporating different patterns in a room, you should follow some guidelines. First, pay attention to both the scale and type of pattern. If you use a pattern in black and on a large scale, it works too. Use accessories that balance color and soften them too. Pay attention to those patterns on a smaller scale and some solid shades. If you choose a large floral pattern, you can complement it with stripes elsewhere. By mixing patterns, you can achieve a sophisticated and traditional look, creating a cozy and eclectic feeling. Just make sure there is variety in the patterns that you are going to use while keeping a unified color palette. This will avoid a feeling of being recharged or unbalanced in the room. Number 3. Motifs on the wall. Yes, you need to incorporate a pattern noticeable in the room to create nice wallpaper. One of the places where you can really add bold and large-scale designs is the wall. For example, when choosing a wallpaper, its print always helps to achieve an eclectic aspect in space, a space with a rich mix. Then, The rest of the materials in the space can act as subtle complements. Think of the accessories, materials, lighting fixtures, and furniture. To complement them, consider options of more useful textiles. But when choosing a wallpaper or any other neutral or plain coating, you then have the freedom to mix layers of patterns through the textiles or accessories. As a result, you will get the same eclectic aspect with character. Number 4. How do we combine them? The many options and combinations of patterns allow customization of the spaces, allowing you to achieve a home with a unique and authentic look. It all depends on your tastes and how you choose to do it. The question is, where should we start? Combinations may vary depending on the color palette, though the harmony between the materials and textures should always work. For example, in the living room, place a floral cushion in the center of the sofa as you observe it, accompanied by a textured center table. Create the look of the stay around you through other complementary patterns, such as a mix of cushions in shades that relate. All these are placed on a solid and neutral sofa, and you add a rug in the same shade of gray that is on the tabletop of the center. In this image, it is observed that the background wall is related to the tone of the complementary cushions. This way, ideas? Let me know in the comments. I'll be reading everyone for now. This is the end of another video. I hope it has been inspiring and helpful to all of you. Finally, I have 3 important recommendations for you. Number 1 is to follow these tricks when decorating, so that you can go in the right direction. Number 2, do not forget that in the description of this video you will find my social networks and more information that might interest you. And number 3, remember to join me in the next video. Finally, receive a huge hug from me and thank you very much.